Chapter 4 Plunder and Loot. It's time to decide just what your first target as a pirate captain will be. The first move could set the tone for the rest of your career and your legend. While opportunity is an important factor in identifying a target, what would your ideal opponent be? Well, we can go after the pirates. Even though I am a pirate, my friends are pirates, my crew are pirates. I feel like they get on expecting to be pirates right now, so if I were to do anything against pirates, they would kind of get mad at me. But I don't want to mess up anything with the crown either. Like, I don't want to piss off the pirates because I am a pirate, but the crown is obviously bullshit, and they're all controlling and stuff like that, but it's hard to decide, really. Well, I don't want to be on the crown's side. I want to be a pirate that fights pirates. There have been other famous pirate hunters, Captain Francisco de Dragon, who had a reputation for setting afire the ships of the pirates who wouldn't surrender, often with their crews still on them, Captain Etienne the Fox, whose sloop was responsible for sinking over 50 pirate vessels despite its small size, and Captain de Contreras, whose autobiography, which you think may be half fictionalized, is always checked out from the Biblioteca de Alejandro in San Alfonso. You're sure your name could be listed among theirs one day. Do you expect to collect the Crown's bounty? I suspect the Crown is using the bounty program to further trap and execute pirates. Absolutely, I want that letter of marque. That's where the money is at, so that's where I'll go. So this is where I have to try to make a decision. Do I want to fight pirates because I want to fight pirates? Do I want to fight pirates for becoming a respected member of society, or do I want to fight pirates for the money? Let's say that I suspect the Crown is using the bounty program to trap and execute. Even though you dislike pirates, you don't entirely trust the Crown. Better to live off whatever booty your fellow pirates have collected, and when you capture their ships, who knows? You might even be able to help some of the crew members who survive your attacks and find legitimate employment. It's a fine day at sea, clear skies, good visibility, and the wind around 16 knots. When you see her, the perfect target, she's a stately-looking galleon flying a variation of the Jolly Roger, a red flag with a skull cross and feathers beneath it. You think that's the flag of Morgana Hawke, a notorious scoundrel highly wanted by the Crown. Better yet, she's not sailing very quickly. It looks like she recently took some damage. How do you plan to take her? Disable her with our cannons, then take the ship after she's damaged, rely on superior sailing to board her without causing too much damage, run up the flag for parley, then attack when we get close. We'll use the parley. Hopefully it won't make us attack automatically, but yeah, we'll get up close. How very dishonorable of you, but the tactic will get you close without fancy sailing. And as long as your crew doesn't look too eager to board, you may be able to take them by surprise. You relay your orders, and Caesar calls out for the crew to run up the white flag and continue to sail casual. As you approach, Caesar looks at your foe through a spyglass. That's odd, he says quietly. What? You ask, and he hands you the spyglass. The captain doesn't look very much like Morgana Hawke, Caesar rumbles. Why would the ship be flying her flag? You focus in on the captain, and Caesar's right. While the captain might be a woman, her hat is notably missing the fan of hawk feathers that Captain Hawke always wears. And isn't Hawke's hair black? This pirate is sandy blonde. You're right, you say, handing him back the spyglass. That's not Hawke. I wonder what they're playing at. Caesar shrugs. Tempting one of Hawke's enemies, maybe. He takes one more glance at the ship. Continue to pursue? Oh, you'll continue to pursue all right. This is your first target and your first chance to make a name for yourself. Besides, now you're curious about what the ship is hiding. But now that you have better information, do you want to adjust your tactics? No, stick with the plan. Yes, I'd rather disable the ship once we're in cannon range. Yes, we'll outsail her and then board. No, stick with the plan. We'll get up nice and close. The white banner flying above your ship makes your crew a little dissatisfied, even knowing that it's a ruse. They're ready to take an enemy ship. You just have to hope they're all cool-headed enough to hide that anticipation when your ship gets close enough. The galleon slows, waiting for you to come within shouting distance before hailing you. "Ahoy, Sea Queen!" the captain calls. From here you can see that she's a tall woman with sandy blonde hair and an oversized pistol strapped to her hip. So far, so good. What conversation do you lead with? Their ship is damaged. I make offer of spare parts. I claim to want news. I tell the truth. Their disguise is not very good. I want news. The ships frequently hail one another to find out news of other parts, movements or crown ships, or rumors of pirates abroad. The problem is that it doesn't get you in a range to board, so you'll have to keep sailing toward the galleon while you talk. A suspicious captain may well see through your plans and change course in order to get a greater distance from you, but you'll risk it. "Captain," you call out, "what do you have? What news do you have from Port Kabbalah?" The captain calls back with news, but she looks nervous the entire time, more focused on her own words than on the fact that your ship is continuing to sail closer. If she's attempting some sort of subterfuge, she's not very confident about it. It's clear she'd like you to just be on your way, but she's preoccupied enough that she doesn't seem to have guessed you're up to something. By the time she realizes it's too late. You're not quite in boarding range, but you're close enough. Strike the flags and prepare to board. Your crew roars with enthusiasm, and the galleon rushes to prepare for your boarding. It's chaos almost immediately. Your crew swarms onto the galleon like bluefish in a frenzy. Grappling hooks clang into the galleon's rigging, pistol shots fire the air with smoke and thunder, and swords flash in the Lycaean sunlight. The screams and smells of battle assault your senses, and your vision narrows to your purpose. I fight alongside my crew. I stay at the helm, making certain our ship holds steady. I use cambiar to aid the battle. We'll use that. Subtle magic is usually more effective than a flashy kind, but there's something to be said about the morale of a crew whose very ship seems determined to rise up against them. You command the wood of the galleon to favor your crew and to buck its own pirates or to rot beneath their feet at just the right moments. You think you hear someone shout out that the ship is possessed. "Not bad," says Granny Old Mally in your ear. "Next you'll have them saying you consort with ghosts." Your crew swarms the deck, crashing into the enemy like waves on rocks. Despite the smoke, cutlasses flash and fists pound into flesh like the beat of island drums. The battle goes in your favor, though it's still hard won. The galleon's crew is loyal to their captain, and many fight until they're subdued or killed, rather than surrendering. Several of your crew fall at their hands. To finalize your victory, you stand on the galleon's deck, towering over the bound and wounded captain, who has been forced to her knees. Caesar, who has seen her in San Alfonso, reports that her nickname is Dobble, because she brags about her ability with disguises. "To tell the truth," she says quietly, He says this. Okay, this is Caesar. "To tell the truth," he says quietly, "I'm disappointed she wasn't better at it. The stories about her make her sound more accomplished." Your crew have already begun the work of gathering the booty from the galleon's hold and transferring it to your ship. "There's a prisoner in the brig," one of them tells you. "What should we do with him?" I ask the captain who he is. I go to question the prisoner myself. If he's in the brig, there's probably a good reason. I'll leave him there to rot. I ask the captain who he is. You put your sword to her throat. "Who's in your brig?" "Promise me my freedom, and I'll answer," she says, rather more calmly than anyone with a sword to their throat should. I agree to the terms. I agree to the terms lie, or I won't promise I'll question the prisoner myself. I agree to the terms. Agreed, you say. You lower your cutlass. After sending the sailor who told you about the prisoner back down to the brig to stand guard, you nod to the captain to continue. "The man in the brig is Evan Locke," Dobble says, as if that should explain everything. When you don't gasp in shock, clearly the response she was looking for, she continues. "Locke is El Sabio's secretary and right-hand man. He handles El Sabio's correspondence, San Alfonso's financial records, and a number of other bits of information the Crown would like to get their sticky hands on." Why does the Crown care about El Sabio? Oh, that's Tanima, damn it, not me. Why does the Crown care about El Sabio? Tanima asks. The captain seems condescendingly amused by her question. "The Crown is convinced that El Sabio can lead them to the Pirate King. Oh, they want San Alfonso, too. All that pretty tax money leaching out of their coffers in a port that doesn't acknowledge them. But even if they know the location of San Alfonso, and I've reason to believe they do, they won't take the island unless they know that they can get their hands on the Pirate King first. And if they're right, and Alsabio knows the Pirate King's identity, Evan Lark knows it too. So you were going to sell him to the crown? You asked. Dalbo shrugs with a glance. Not without seeing how much Alsabio would be willing to ransom him back for first. My cambiante sent out a wind whisper earlier today with the ransom demand. We had a couple of hours yet before we set course for Portabellena when you engaged us. Portabellena, home of the crown's governor of Lucayan territories. If they took Lark there, not even the Pirate King could get him back. In the meantime, not only do you have a captured galleon and whatever booty is in its hold on your hands, but also a potentially dangerous, potentially lucrative captive. I want to talk to prisoner before I decide. I'll return Lark to Alsabio. I may be a pirate, but I'm no kidnapper. I'll return Lark to Alsabio. I don't want to face the Pirate King's wrath. That ransom plan sounds good. Lark can go straight to the crown. I want to talk to prisoner. You can't just assume that your subdued foe is telling the truth, after all. You'll go down to the brig to see if the prisoner corroborates her tale. The galleon's brig is no roomy dungeon. It's a single cramped cell that might have been designed to hold fish. It still has that smell about it. Inside is a man with a youthful appearance whose thin form suggests a life indoors. His clothing is of the current most fashionable style in the Lucayan, probably imported from the continent. You get the impression that he is nearly as frustrated by his lack of fastidiousness as he is being imprisoned in the first place. You can imagine that his black hair was once tied back neatly at the nape of his neck, and that his rich clothes were so scuffed and out of place. Weren't so scuffed and out of place. He probably also... God, I gotta quit smoking so much. I don't smoke. He's probably also close to overheating, given that fashionable and practical so rarely go hand in hand with clothes from the continent. I suspect that's... Oh, the sailor. I suspect he's some governor's spoiled brat, kidnapped for ransom, says the sailor who told you of the prisoner in the first place. You approach the bars of the too small cell and see the remains of a mealy piece of bread on a tin plate. At least he tried to stomach something to keep his strength up, if those skinny arms have any strength. I set him at ease with a joke. I introduce myself and ask his name. I think I've seen him around San Alfonso. I hear you're Evan Lark. Let's introduce myself and ask his name, in case he isn't Evan Lark. Lark sings. Convince Evan... Okay, he is Evan Lark. I'm Captain Benstakar Morgan of the Sea Queen, you say. Who are you? Captain Morgan, I am Evan Lark, secretary to Alsabio, the man says, trying to stand and bow, though there's room for neither in his cell. I've heard some good things about you. I can only hope that your presence here implies some sort of a rescue. How did you come to be captured in the first place, you ask? Lark sighs, slumping back down. I apologize for not conversing more properly, but I hope you'll forgive me for remaining seated. You nod to him to go on. I believe I've gotten a bit careless in my security, he continues, fussing with a loose button on his jacket. You see, next to no one in San Alfonso is prepared to have their sanctuary removed. So few people question Alsabio. In part, it's because people are happy. The city is well run, trade is good, and Alsabio's imposition on commerce is so much smaller than the crown's that few see a need to question it. But it's also because Alsabio's goodwill offers a sort of protection to San Alfonso's residents and frequent visitors. So it didn't occur to me that someone might consider me a target for kidnapping. What the hell is that, Brian?
Huh?
Take that off my door.
The zombie wants brains.
Shut up, go away. I was taking a stroll along the beach, as is a typical evening custom of mine, when I found myself surrounded by ruffians. I attempted to fight them off with my rapier, but there were too many. Well, see, that's why you lost, because you're wearing all this fancy clothing and you're using a rapier? What a fag. I mean, whoops, it's 2016. Oops. I'll say fag if I want to. You have trouble imagining him even lifting a rapier, let alone fighting with one. Do you know why a group of pirates would be interested in kidnapping a secretary, you ask? Ransom, Lark says simply. Or to sell me to the crown. He smiles thinly. I handle all of Alsabio's correspondence and organize the finances for San Alfonso. The crown is very interested in San Alfonso, given that we've so far avoided paying them any taxes and act as a haven for a number of wanted criminals. And I suspect the Crown thinks El Sabio knows something about the Pirate King, which of course is sheer nonsense. No one knows the identity of the Pirate King, except it's probably El Sabio. Because that's how this stuff works out, always. I'll return luck to El Sabio. I may be a pirate, but I'm no kidnapper. I'll return luck to El Sabio. I don't want to face the Pirate King's wrath. That ransom plan sounds like a good idea. Lark can go straight to the Crown. We'll return Lark to El Sabio. Why not? You release Lark from the brig and take him over to the Sea Queen, promising that you'll deliver him to El Sabio as soon as you get back to San Alfonso. The secretary is effusive with his thanks, not only on his own behalf, but for the sake of Alfonso. Is this him? Yep. Can you imagine how disastrous it would be for El Sabio's private correspondence to fall into the wrong hands? He asks. I shall have to take proper security measures to make sure that I'm accompanied at all time, and not subject to kidnapping like some governor's child. A bodyguard is an excellent idea, Caesar says. Lark looks Caesar up and down. I don't suppose you're available? He asks hopefully. Caesar laughs and promises to make some recommendations when you've returned to San Alfonso. In the meantime, you have to decide what to do about the galleon. What will you do with the ship and crew? I maroon the captain, take the ship, and offer the crew positions with my fleet, kill everyone and burn the ship, offer the masquerading captain a chance to join your fleet. We'll do that. I'm not going to maroon the captain. That's a dick move. I mean, I did promise her freedom, but I'm not going to kill everyone and burn the ship, because that would mean I was lying before. Captured. Capture your first target without sinking it. Cool. You can't captain another ship yourself, and you're to develop a fleet and reputation to rival the Pirate King. You'll need competent people under you. While Dobble may not exactly fill that need, she already knows the galleon, and if you support the ship properly, she could bring you in a tidy amount of cash. I'd be honored, Captain Morgan, she says in relief. It's a generous offer, all things considered, and I know when I've met someone who outclasses me. You're going somewhere, and I'll ride in your wake. Dobble pays you a portion of her booty in return for your new leadership and guidance, and frankly, the protection of your guns as you head back to San Alfonso. You exchange a portion of the galleon's crew with sailors hired by Caesar, and bring the rest of your galleon's sailors onto your boat. Your ship sails in tandem back to port, capturing another target on its way. Your take is small, given your increase in expenses, but you think of it as an investment for the future. So what is my... I'm at 505 doubloons. Cool. And I've got 3 fleet. Yay! Flagship the Sea Queen. Yeah, I'm assuming I'll get a chance to change that at some point. I do not yet have a moniker. Alright, next. All in all, you think it's a fine way to have ended your first voyage, until, that is, you get back to San Alfonso a few weeks and a couple of marks later. You're greeted at the dock by Capitan de la Playa, whose stoic expression reveals nothing about her purpose. El Sabio would like a word, she says, dispensing with any greeting. While you don't think she's technically arresting you, you have the feeling that this is not the type of invitation you can refuse. Accompanied by Caesar and Tanima, you make your way to the home of El Sabio. San Alfonso's leader lives in a hacienda overlooking the cliff just beyond the northern edges of the city. You'd be hard-pressed to come up with a more glorious spot on all the island to overlook the Lucayan. The lands surrounding the house are filled with sugar cane, and though there is a number of workers out in the field, there are fewer than you'd expect for the size of the operation. There are no whips to inspire them either. They seem to be working hard for their own volition, and despite the intensity of their labor, you get the impression that they aren't the type of workers who would run given first opportunity. I wonder how El Sabio pays them, you muse aloud. Nice as it is, Caesar says, I guarantee he's paying them with more than just the view. Stupid throat and voice and life in general. Damn human body. The plantation house itself is impressive, easily as grand as the governor's mansion in Portobelena. The main hall is decorated with tapestries from the continent and furniture from the east. But the display of wealth is more comfortable than ostentatious. The chairs in the parlor look inviting to sit rather than stiff-backed, to encourage visitors to leave soon after arriving. Books line the walls, written written in languages from all over the world. Both El Sabio's worldliness and his love for learning are apparent in the chosen decorations. Sculptures and paintings offer stories from mythologies across the globe, some of which you recognize and some of which you don't. I'm going to go ahead and stop right there. We're in El Sabio's house now, and see you guys next time. Also, I forgot to make another comment about the fact that my character decided to have sex with Tamina after 2 freaking days! It doesn't matter.